Just like, look, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. I'm going to put my mind to it because little Keira would be shocked at what you see now.
Welcome to the Unstuck Yourself with Crystal Simmons podcast. Here, you will raise your awareness to what is, and most importantly, what isn't working for you in all areas of your life, to identify your unique abilities and superpowers, to take purposeful action. We all get stuck, and now you can unstuck yourself with me every week. Now let's get unstuck, peeps. Hey, peeps, welcome back. Today is a special interview episode with our dope guest, Keira Beverly. Keira and I discussed her whimsical path of wanting to become a lawyer. At the age of 8, she knew that. And instead, she became the first African-American woman to receive an engineering degree from Randolph, Macon. After spending 3 years working as an engineer and a pole dance instructor, she decided to go out on her own and open businesses that focuses more on her passions. Now, she is a 25-year-old entrepreneur that is trusting the process of figuring it all out while being a guide for young Black women along the way. You can learn more about Keira's work at polesweets.com. That's POLESWEET.com. Follow her on IG at shop_polesweets and at exploding_K. That is EXPLODING_K. And be sure to listen to our Think Tank segment of the episode where Keira has her dope tactical aha moment and giving herself space to reflect on all that she was learning in our time together. I'm so excited for y'all to listen to this episode. Enjoy! Keira! Oh, sorry, peeps. I was just telling her I was getting very excited. I have to do my intro first. Hello, peeps. Thank y'all for coming back this week. And here on Unstuck Yourself with Crystal Simmons podcast, we highlight personal stuck moments of mine. And also I created a space for others to do the same. And they could do that through interviewing with me, having candid conversations. And before we dive into all the dopeness that Keira is creating, I want you to share with us, let us know about little Keira and how she paved the way for the current Keira that sits before me today.
Little Keira. Okay. Little Keira is like, she is very like bubbly and outgoing, but she also had to like come into herself a lot. Just trying to be more confident and I guess just letting people see me and not being so having the walls up and things like that. And so through little Keira being like, shy and kind of letting people, roll over her, kind of built Keira now that's like much more aggressive about what she wants. And I always say I could do anything as long as I care. So it's like... So now I'm just like, look, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. I'm going to put my mind to it because little Keira would be shocked at what you see now.
Oh, that is dope. And you're so young too.
Yeah, I'm 25.
Which I was saying this a couple episodes ago where I'm all for the younger generation, like being aware of that, recognizing it. And all of us have the little us still with us. So I did an episode previously about what would your 7-year-old self say? And it's basically what you just shared. Like she would be shocked. And how true is it that she kind of knew you would be to this point though?
I don't think little Keira knew at all. I've changed my path. I was one of those kids that had her whole life mapped out at like 8. And so
what does that look like?
I'm sorry.
What does that look like at 8 and your life being mapped out? What does that
So
look like?
between the ages of like 8 and 10, I got really into watching like Law and Order and stuff like that, which I probably shouldn't have been watching at that young because it's like a little traumatizing. But
It is.
I had convinced myself from the ages of like 8 to 18 that I was going to be a lawyer. And I was so sure that I was going to be a lawyer. I said, I'm going to do like entertainment law. I'm going to do copyright because I sing. And so I really wanted to be in the entertainment business. And I got into engineering school, just like got in an engineering school. And I was like, okay. And so I switched up.
Wait a minute. For the people who don't have the video, Keira literally was like, all right, so I'm deep into being a lawyer for like 10 years. This is my path. And then I was like, oh, I got into it. She threw her hands up like, yeah, so I just got into engineering. How did that happen?
I had applied for, so if you've done like if anybody listening has done the college process within the last 10 years, they have what's called the common application. And so you fill out one application and then you pay to send it to all the schools that you want it to go to that will accept it via the internet.
Wow.
And so as a part of that, some of the schools will ask you, hey, like if you don't get into your school of choice, do you have a second or third choice? And I had applied to VCU and I had applied to their political science school because, again, I wanted to be a lawyer. That was like what I was going to do. And they emailed me and they said, hey, we ran out of spots in the political science school. I'm really sorry, but we were actually really impressed with how well you do with math and science. Would you be interested in your second choice, which was the engineering school? Gotcha. And I said, oh, I mean, I guess like.
I love it.
So long story short, I didn't end up going to VCU, but the college I did go to, Randolph, Macon, had an up and coming engineering school that I did go to and graduate from. And now I'm not doing engineering at all. So,
but however, you still made history. Share with the piece what the history was, and you graduated in that program.
Yeah, so I was the first Black woman to graduate from Randolph, Macon with an engineering degree.
That's huge, like major. I was reading your bio. I was like, what the? Are you serious? That is dope. And it's even doper that you're not even doing engineering because so many people could get stuck like, but I made history. Like, this is what I'm doing now. This is what I've done. And you hold on to that quote unquote accomplishment where you even knew then like, oh yeah, I guess I'll go to the school. Like that wasn't in your plan. So shout out to you for recognizing like, yeah, I did it. And you did engineering for 3 years, right? What did that look like? So after you graduated, how did the process of you being hired and stuff like that look like?
So I graduated in 2019. Got out there right before that good old pandemic. And then, and then I actually ended up working for a smaller company, here in Virginia at first. And it ended up being kind of a situation where they were like, oh, you'll use your engineering schools. It'll be a great opportunity. And it was like, not that at all. I was not doing anything engineering related, like completely. They just took advantage of the fact that I was fresh out of college and I needed a job.
Gotcha.
And so after I decided that I was only there like not even 6 months. And I said, you know what? I deserve better. Like I worked hard. I paid a lot of money for this degree. I'm going to use it. Yes. And so I applied for a job as an engineer with the Federal Reserve System. And that's the job that I actually got. And I took it. I was like shocked. I applied for it on a whim. I was like, nobody's going to hire me. Like there's no way. And and that's the job I ended up working for 3 years. And it was awesome.
Oh, I want to pause because you say you took it on a whim. For me, I'm internalizing that for myself of I read that as your soul knowing. Like we don't have to have this intricate plan, but we can have this intuition of, hey, I'm gonna try it. Because now that I go back, me taking that job as a chief tech at the hospital, I left the medical field 2019 before the pandemic hit. Thank goodness, because that would have been a hard choice to leave. And I would have hated myself if I left. I know I would have left in COVID. But anyways, I took the job on a whim. The hiring supervisor was my mentor, and she was like, I thought you were calling me to apply for my old position because she promoted. And I was like, what? Talked to my husband, and he's like, yeah, you say you had been looking. I was like, all right. I wasn't like, oh, I've been waiting. Like, when I got it, it was awesome in the fact that it transformed me, but it was miserable being there. But then I also got another balance of people supporting me in different ways. Like, I wanted certain people to support me, like my supervisor and her supervisor, and they didn't, but I had so many other people supporting me. And so the Whim, shout out to the Whim. That's all I wanted to say. Like, the Whims, they're powerful. And you said you loved it. Before we go down that road, I want to go back to you singing, because you mentioned you have music. Keira sounds amazing. Background story, I took her, well, we haven't mentioned that, but I took her class. We will get into that. And she was singing, packing up all her stuff. And I was like, you sound really good. And it goes back to Keira saying, like, I worked really hard. You was like, yeah, I have music on Spotify. Like, that made me really excited when people are talented and they are their own biggest fans in terms of just sharing information. You could have easily, quote unquote, been nice and been like, thanks, I appreciate it, and cut the conversation. But yet, and still you expanded the conversations. Like, I have music on Spotify, and I could have been like, oh, I don't listen to Spotify. And then I could have cut the conversation. So we all have choices, but as soon as you said, I was like, what? And then me being curious, do you produce your own music? Do you do this? Like, I get really curious. And that led us basically here, because I told you I was looking for an editor for my podcast. And you were like, your partner. And so shout out to the team. It's been amazing, but this is about you. Michael will get his chance. Let him know. He's going to edit this, so he'll hear this.
I know he's listening right now.
Keira, please. Actually, I'm going to start. You don't know why I started coming into the class. Yet, I'm pretty sure you have heard many stories of why ladies and men come into the pole dancing class. I had a plan in my mind where I would go to school. I would be the good one. Like, I didn't like put on my hat and like walk around like, I'm going to be good, but I was very cautious. I didn't take risks. I wanted to try to travel the road well-traveled, where we go to school, we get a job, we stay there. Okay, I could do that.
Yes.
A year into me becoming an X-ray tech, I was like, there's no way I could do this for 30 years. There's no way. I love my patients. I appreciate some of the people I work with and I'm learning, but this is boring. Like, it felt like Groundhog's Day, the same thing over. And it was like, even think about it. I was like, there's no way, but I didn't know where else to go. That was the end of my journey, school and work. And things kept occurring, and it just kind of triggered me into like, I did everything right. Why is this happening? What is wrong with me? What am I missing? What am I not seeing? And that was about 12 years of a path, because I graduated from X-ray school in 2008, but I had been a student tech 2007. So 2008 all the way up until 2019, when I ended up leaving, I was like, I can't do this. Like, I have excelled, I have promoted, I'm making a lot of money, but I'm being buried as a person. Like, as my thoughts are like, hey, this, no, Crystal, that's not the way we do it. Okay. Maybe I need to sit back a little bit more.
That is such a STEM thing, by the way. Like, that is such a science thing. Like,
tell me more. What do you mean?
Like, that is such I from my own experience and from others that I know of, especially, Michael included, he comes from medical background. And so being a part of STEM, like science and technology, you lose that creative side of yourself because there's no wiggle room with science. Yeah. And you lose that part of you that is so creative. Like the part of me that wanted to sing and act and dance just slowly but surely got like more and more diminished because you live most of your life, at least 40 hours a week of your life in this world where there's no room for fresh ideas.
Thank you for that. Like my soul is so excited. I got chills because you put the words to the feelings and it all makes sense now. The way you just said that, I've never heard it or received that message that way. And that's exactly what happened when I left. I started bringing in more creativity. And that was just like me meditating more. That was me just like going outside and like sitting on the ground and like sitting on the ground. Hear my neighbors see me sitting on the ground. And I don't care if I seem weird because I know what it felt like when didn't allow myself to be me, even when people perceive me as being weird. I was like, all right, I need to stop being weird. Right. And then be normal. And I'm like, well, this feels like ass. And y'all look like ass while y'all trying to be normal. Why are we doing this? So fast forward, I told people before I was watching a show and they show a woman doing a pole dance, like routine. And it just clicked because I have done it like 15 years ago. My sister, she had a bachelorette party and we organized for her so much fun. I was like, oh, I want to do that. I knew I wanted to do dance classes and I couldn't find what I was looking for. But then when that show came on with the pole dance and I was like, that's what I'm going to go do. And there was another studio and then the studio where I met you at. And complete transparency, I'm looking at the instructors and I'm like, where are the Black people? You did not have a picture. Not stereotype. I was like, I hope she's Black. I think she's Black.
I love it. Oh my God.
Went to the after dark class and you taught the routine. Going into that class was intimidating, but I went in for me. This was the first time I went into an experience where I told myself I'm going to record myself because I understand the value of seeing the progression. That was my one promise to myself. I was like, I'm going to record myself. And normally when I tell myself I'm going to do it, I do it. But shout out to you and the other instructors who say, all right, so this is the portion where you can record yourself. I was like, oh, shit. They're encouraging us to record. So I won't be, quote unquote, the weird one pulling out my phone. And that's why I was like, this is dope. This is dope. So how did you get into it? Like, I want to know.
Into pole dancing?
Yeah.
Yeah. So kind of similar experience. I went for a party. It was really just me and my two friends. It was one of their birthdays. And she was like, hey, I was looking up like dance classes we could take on Groupon, and I found this Groupon for us to take a pole dancing class. And I had always wanted to do pole dancing, but it's like that very common scenario where you don't want to go alone. I see that a lot when I teach pole dancing. The first time it's somebody's class, they always bring a friend. So I'm the weird one. I wanted to go by myself. I noticed that you came alone, and I was like, I love that. Like, just live it. Because if I had felt comfortable coming alone and just was like, I'm just going to do it, I would not have waited as long as I did to start.
I think you have no idea. Y'all don't understand. When I talk to people, I'm learning so much about myself as well. And that's why it's so easy for me to do the podcast. Like, this is nourishing me. But what you just said, I didn't even see the value in me going by myself. I didn't even see the value. I would just, if I think really hard, it would be like, oh, are you embarrassed because you don't want your friend to see you? So, you know what I mean? So go by yourself so nobody will see you.
Like, I think it's very, I think it's very cool when people come to my classes alone, especially if they say, yeah, it's my first time just here. I'm just going to try it out. That always just immediately exudes this confidence to me, because I don't really have that, right? I didn't really have that in the beginning. And I came with my two friends and we're all just like kind of like sucking together. Like we're all just kind of like being bad at it, but at least we have each other, you know? So that's kind of the vibe that I was getting. But I think if I went back, like looking back at it, I think I probably would have started like a year earlier, because I started when I was like 19, 20. And you can start at our studio at 18. So
Gotcha.
I think I would have started right at 18 if I had the confidence to do so without a friend. So I would have had a full extra year of training in my like physical prime of being 18 and limber. Like
it says the 25-year-old.
I don't know, man. I'm already getting stiff. 25, like.
I mean, y'all, and those who have gone to the class or never have, like, it is a workout and a request of your body that you can't even replicate. Like I did CrossFit for many years, and just like kind of grabbing onto the pole and then wrapping. It's like, wait, what the hell muscle is that? Literally, Keira, one of the days like afterwards, I thought I had COVID, because all of this around, like, so I'm my chest around underneath, like my armpits, my back, like almost like a corset. It just felt tight. And I was like, it's hard for me to breathe. Yeah. COVID. And I was like, oh, I think it's from the pole. Like,
I didn't know I was supposed to be stretching my lungs. I didn't know I was supposed to be working that muscle.
I was like, oh my good, like this, and that's what hooked me, because I wanted to do something that would get me physically fit, not feel like I'm working out, which I don't have a problem with. But as I get older and more creative, I'm like, why would I want to just pick up a dumbbell and just just run? I want to do that with other people. I do recognize that too. I like being in the class with other people. So you did it with your friends. What made you keep going and thus becoming a dope ass instructor and thus creating a business for those who, I'll let you get into that.
So I started, like I said, with the party, and then afterward they had the studio had this thing where they probably like showed it to you too, where you get like 3 classes in one payment.
Yep.
And they take like however many dollars off. And so I got my little like college kid money together, and I was like, yes, like I want to do this. I'm going to use these like 3 classes because I already bought them, and we'll just see how it goes. And so after those 3 classes, I just kept coming back, 3 more classes, 3 more classes, 3 more classes. And now it's been 5 years. So I was dancing there for a year before I started pole dancing competitively.
So before you go down that, how did you progress? Because right now, like I'll go to the intro classes with I went with my sisters. I'm going with a friend tomorrow. How did you go from intro to level 1 to level 2? Like, what did that look like?
It's so different for everybody. And that's what I tell everyone. Like, it's so up to you, up to your body, up to how much you can practice, and how fast you're going to learn it. Because I've had students that, took a while to learn things that are just, in the intro class, and you think, oh, it's intro, it's supposed to be easy. It's not easy for everybody.
Yeah.
And, I've had the opposite as well, where I've had people that take the level 1 class and they skip intro and they just show up to level 1 and they're doing all these things. And I'm like, whoa, you are too strong.
Yes.
So it's really, everybody is different. You have to feel it out. And I always say, like, to my students, if you feel like you're ready to move up, ask me, and I will always let you know. I'm going to be honest and let you know if you're ready or not. But typically, if you feel like you're ready, you probably are.
Okay.
Yeah.
So after a year, you started competing competitively. How did you find out about it?
Through the studio, you know, there were other dancers there that had done it competitively in the past. It had been a while since somebody from the studio had competed, and I was like, I want to do it. Like, even if I'm, you know, I'm not a competitive person by nature. I'm like, oh, you know, you win some, you lose some type of person. And so I was like, you know, I'm going to do it. I'm going to try really hard, and I'm going to be really, really nervous. But, you know, like I said, I've always sang and act and danced. So I was like, we're just going to try. And if I lose, it's okay. And so I won like first place on my first competition, which was crazy. No,
I might have to like release this video, because she just said, and like, so I went to the grocery store, bought some milk, and then I figured I needed some eggs.
I was like, if I lose, it's like no big deal. And so when I won, I was like screaming expletives.
I'm gonna start calling you whimsical. Because you keep going out on things on a whim, like, oh, it is what it is. And it's like, and the universe is like, and there you go. You're welcome.
And here it is.
So you said you won, and what happened? I'm sorry, I cut you off.
Oh no, you're fine. Like, I won my first competition, and I was like, awesome. Like, I'll just keep doing it. And then a couple years later, like a year and a half or two later, that's when I started teaching choreographing, things like that.
My gosh. It just hit me. I was like, oh, she must have missed to tell me when she became an instructor. You competed as a mother effer, like as a just
like an amateur, dancer. Yeah.
Oh my God. Oh my God, that's so dope. Wow.
Yeah, I went in just like a little baby polar, and I was like, I'm just gonna go and see. And that was pretty cool. And then I started teaching like a year and a half, two later. And then just continued on. So all of that together equals almost 5 years now, like 4.5, almost 5 years in pole. And I still love it. I have my moments where I'm like, man, this hurts so much. And man, why does it feel like everybody on the internet's so much better than me? Like, but I still do it because at the end of the day, it is like a creative outlet, and it is like a happy place for me. Yes. And I don't want to turn it into something that is not that.
Yes.
Yeah.
What do you feel like could possibly turn it into that not so happy place?
I was afraid actually that monetizing it would turn it into not that. Like, I was afraid that if I started teaching and making money, you know, whether it be part-time, you know, I'm not making that much money, but I was afraid that once I started turning it into work, that I wouldn't love it anymore. And so I told myself that once it starts feeling like it's not the best for me anymore, it's not serving me in the way that I need it to, it's not feeding my soul, you know, I would stop. And so that's pretty much what ended up happening.
Well, I wanted to ask about this, so I'm glad you brought that up. And I want to also acknowledge, like, what you are saying is completely normal, because from day one, we have been told that creativeness, you can't make money off of that. That's not a job. That's not work. Is supposed to be serious. It's supposed to be trash ass shit. But not in those words. Those are Crystal's colorful words. And so it makes sense for our brains to be like, oh no, if this starts feeling like work, I'm done. And both of those instances are all or none, but there's so much gray in there where we can actually weave in, like, you know what? I've been working and doing too many classes. I'm gonna cut this shit to half. And then you get back to that creativeness. And because that's the same thing that happened with me in my full-time job. I went there to get paid, but also to bring in more education, bring in more training to our staff. And my supervisor, that wasn't her MO. So when I suggested something, she was like, no, no, no. And I was like, you know what? I would have a conversation. I would talk to HR. I'm doing these little things. And I was like, F this, I'm out. And it was all or none. I'm done. How about that?
Yeah.
So recognizing that some of us who are listening may be at that point where I'm about to just say F it all. That is normal. And that might be your calling. However, if there's something else, it's like, maybe if I just cut it down, so then I can actually experience like, oh yeah, I do. Like I was just working too much. I don't care how much you love doing something.
Right.
Eating. I can't eat all the time. I will throw up. I would get sick. Like that's something so simple. We can't do anything all the time. Like that's not.
Yeah. Yeah. I was working my engineering job. I was working 40 hours a week. And then, you know, most of the time more than that. And then I would teach dance right after. And when I first started teaching, I was, you know, it was just me and one other pole dance teacher at the studio.
Wow.
And so I was teaching like 5 classes a week on top of working my 40-hour-a-week job. Wow. And it just became too much. And so as soon as, you know, the studio was prepared to hire another teacher, I was like, she can have these classes. You know, I'm going to go down to 3 times a week because that's what I need to do.
Yes. Oh, that's dope. So what happened this most recent time? What transpired for you to be where you are now?
So actually the start of my business. So starting Pole Suites, my pole and aerial merchandise business.
Hey.
Yeah, super exciting. I had the idea in August, and then like 2 weeks or so later, I had it started. And so I kind of just hit the ground running with it. Like I said, I can do anything I put my mind to. Like, as long as I like give a fuck, I can do it. Yes. So I went ahead and, you know, got the LLC started, got the website up. I was really excited about it. I posted it to, you know, the Instagram that I created for the shop.
And what's the Instagram?
It's at Shop Pole Suites on Instagram and Facebook. But I posted it on my pole page as well, so that, you know, all my people in the pole community, you know, could know about it. And that ruffled some feathers. That wasn't exactly well received with the studio. And it was in a situation where I was being I was being accused of trying to take something away from the studio by selling, you know, my merchandise. I wasn't selling classes at the time. I'm still not selling classes. You know, I was just like, oh, I'll sell t-shirts and beanies and journals and stickers, you know, little stuff like that in the start of it. And even that was just like, oh, well, you can't do that. Like I said, I started being uncomfortable in the situation that I was being put in. And so I had to walk away. And I honestly think that that was harder than walking away from my 40-hour-a-week government job. That was so much harder because I loved that studio. I'd been there for 5 years. You know, spent my entire pole journey there. You know, I had loyal students that I saw every week. And I you know, always, you know, I asked them about their lives, you know, how's work? How are you doing? Like, you know, what do you want to learn today? Like, we really had genuine relationships. And so it felt like I was abandoning them to do what was best for me. And so I really grieved the loss of that relationship and like had to talk to my therapist about it and everything. I was just like, man, this sucks. Like, I know I'm doing what's best for me because I'm being put in a really weird situation that is that I'm losing sleep over. And I was like, I can't do that.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what happened with that situation, but it's okay. Like, you know, I have my business now, and the people that are in my life are really supportive of me and supportive of my business. And, you know, now I can do my own thing as far as like teaching classes and everything. So.
Ooh, that goes to my next question is like, where are you teaching classes at? Because like I said earlier, one, thank you for sharing that story. It's completely understandable for you to feel those feelings of, this is where I started. Like you weren't just an instructor, you were invested. It was a part of who you were becoming, and allowing other people to do the same. And for the person who allowed you to be there, and then you don't want to show up fully as yourself, is like, no, you could teach these classes, but don't try to expand yourself outside of this.
Right.
Like, it's like, wow, you don't get it.
Yeah.
I thought you got it.
I did. I thought it was gotten, and it was not.
When they don't get it, it's like, fuck, I had so much hope in you. I trusted you. And not even like, I'm gonna just leave it at that. Like, I trusted you, I had hope in you, and yet you disappointed me. And that does suck. It does suck.
Yeah. And it's crazy because I never expected that from that situation. I expected that from the government, right? I expected that from my engineering job. When I decided that I was going to put in my 2 weeks at that job, I was totally like expecting them to tell me to leave that day.
Gotcha.
I was expecting them to be like, well, we'll pay you out your 2 weeks, but you can't stay here. And I thought I was going to get that really like, you know, that, I guess, nastiness. I don't know. I just thought people would judge me, especially when I would tell people, when people say, oh, well, what's your next step? Where are you going? I would be like, home. I'm going home.
Yep. Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to jump right into another job after I just left this one. I'm not mentally in the right space to do that.
Oh, man.
And so when I started telling people that, I really thought that I was going to get that kind of like, oh, well, you don't have another job lined up, or, oh, well, good luck, you know, like, and I didn't get that. I got so much grace from the people in that situation, because I think they really felt where I was coming from. And I was one of the youngest people in, you know, my department. And so when I would tell people, I'm taking a break, I'm only 25 and I'm tired, I'm burnt out, and I still have so many years left of my life, I cannot be this tired already.
Yeah.
And they would be like, good for you. I wish I could do that. Or when I was 25, I wish I had done that, because now I'm 45 and I'm working here and I have kids and I have, you know, a partner that I have to take care of. I can't make those decisions like that. But you, person that is not married and that only has a dog, you can do that. So go, like, run far away from this place. And I was so emotional. I literally was sitting here at my desk sobbing. And Michael like looked at me and he's like, what's wrong? Like, he thought something. And I was like, people are being nice to me. Like, people are being so nice. And I couldn't understand until I went back into the office and people told me to my face how they felt being in the situation. And they were like, I see you. I feel exactly where you're coming from. And I wish you nothing but the best.
Yes.
And I expected that from my creative outlet, right? And I didn't get that. So it really, like, that, both of those situations, individually and collectively, completely like changed my perspective on a lot of things.
That is a beautiful story, because when you talk about people going into a classroom by themselves and then being confident, you exuded confidence in yourself and in your sanity and in your peace and in your knowing of, look, these are the facts. I'm young, I'm tired as fuck, I'm stressed the fuck out. I need to pause. What do they say? Like, when you feel overwhelmed, the symptom, I mean, the cure is to do nothing. Don't get on your phone. Don't talk to people. Sit there and do nothing. And then suddenly things will start to flow. It might take some time, but That is beautiful because that's what life is. We go into situations assuming, thinking, and then when it's not, it's like, oh, I was just being honest. Like, I'm not doing anything. I'm open. Right. I'm vulnerable. This is the facts. And people receiving that, like you said, giving you grace. But when people speak to you, they're typically speaking to themselves. So when they're like, good for you, they're saying like, fuck, you can actually do that? Yes. Like you're showing them, you're giving them permission. Like, yeah, I'm doing it right now. But you're not falling apart. You're not freaking out. Like, yeah. Who knows what happened to those people? Like, similar thing happened to me where I was actually, my creativeness started bursting open while I was at that job. And someone told me about a product-based business. Never wanted a business, never thought about having a business, didn't even understand having your own business. I went to a meeting because I really liked the products. And then I'm like, this is interesting. Started telling people about the products, they wanted to buy it. And I was like, okay, I'll start it and see what happens. Went out on a whim. I was being whimsical. Like, here.
Come on, Whim.
And I'm gonna start saying that too. And so because it started bursting open the hope and like people having stories similar to mine, but in different professional settings. And I'm like, oh, I think I could probably do something else. And then I got my first paycheck. I was like, I think it was like $20, but it was like, this is a business. And then I just started learning what having a business is, networking. And I say all that to say, when I left, there was one woman in particular who was like, oh my God, Crystal, I really wanted to do that as a nurse. And I was too afraid. And I was like, you still have time. And she was like, I'm just so happy for you. I'm so, and that meant so much to me, Keira. And then I think 6-7 months later, she hit me up on Facebook and was like, guess what? I left the hospital. Now I'm a traveling nurse. She's traveling to a hospital like 30 minutes from where she lives, but she's getting paid as a travel nurse. They get paid a lot of money.
Yeah, they do.
And for her to say she was so afraid to do it when she was younger, but yet this woman is over 50. And she left her career because
that's amazing.
She saw me do it and it sparked something in her of like, fuck, you know what? Other people left and they hit me up. And so you have no idea the ripple effect that you created because you were just honoring yourself. So thank you. Thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you.
Damn, that shit is cool. All right, so let's talk about the shop. What do you envision? Because you say you're not offering classes yet, but will you be?
Maybe you have to
Y'all get my fingers crossed.
On. You have to check out the Instagram and Facebook and all that to keep up with the updates. I'm like, yeah, I can't exactly say right now, but
y'all, when we finish record, I'm gonna ask her again. I'm not gonna tell y'all, but I'm nosy and I want to know because I'll tell you why. The studio ended up going on a break for a holiday for like 2 or 3 weeks. I'm like, I'm just not getting in my groove. And your classes were once a week. I would go, I think it was on Monday after dark. So I was playing around with that class and then playing around with level 1 and intro. And so I was like, all right, I'll sign up after the break. And then they canceled your class. And I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And then I started scrolling and I didn't see anymore. So shout out to one of the instructors who ended up telling me. And I was like, okay. So then I hit you up. And a part of me is still kind of like, the other instructors are dope as fuck. Like I appreciate them. And I also recognize there's a connection that I have with you because of who you are and the energy you gave, but also the people that I tell when I post it. Keira, I went to a class. After class, I left and there was a dude sitting in the car and he's like, excuse me. Did you just come from pole dancing? One, I'm like, who the fuck are you? And this is
right. Why do you need to know?
I trusted myself and I was like, I did. And he's like, my fiance's in there. And she was nervous because she didn't see a lot of black people. She was texting me. So I was like, I was like, one of the instructors, she was here, but she's no longer here. But the other instructors are really dope. And I actually got to meet her again and talk to her. And we got to be pole partners. So she was like, yeah, you met my fiance, whatever. And I was like, it's really dope. she was fucking amazing. I think she did like 3 intros and she just climbed. And I was like, what the fuck is happening? I was like, you need to move.
What I tell you, everybody's journey is very different.
Super different. She was like, I want to be able to like spin around. I was like, yeah, you can already, yes, you are ready. But the importance of representation, like I don't care how talented you are. Others can soak that up, but to see another person and connect with them on because it's not so much, it is just your hair. Your hair is light, you're black, you're smiling, like you said, you're bubbly. She has an immaculate taste in music with her selections and the dance moves, and just you walking around in your confidence to see someone who looks like you do that. I don't care how fucking talented you are. It doesn't compare. So I'm going to ask her after this recording if she's doing classes, because I keep talking about the studio and I want to branch this out. I want to be able to have events where a lot of women come through all the time. Like I like getting people together. Because pole, we talked about it being like exercise, but it has unlocked something in me that I didn't even know I was looking for.
Absolutely.
Where I'm standing up taller. I'm excited to go. When I looked at that first video of myself, I was like, fuck, I look good. In my head, I was like, you look stupid. This is dumb. You don't even know what you're doing. Like I had so much chatter in my head, but as soon as I hit play, I was like, I do not look nearly as bad as my ego and my brain is trying to tell me.
You're like, wait a minute, you might have just did something. Okay.
Yes.
She ate that. Okay.
Yes. So people were asked, they was like, oh my God, I would hate to see myself. I was like, the dopest part about it, ain't no mirrors. And they're like, what? So now they have to sit with it like, fuck, I don't have no other excuse. Like,
right.
And that's fine. But if you've never felt yourself expand, and it doesn't even have to be like sexually or confidently, but just expand outside of that, the norm.
Yeah.
You really don't know what you're missing.
Yeah. Do something different. I love it when people that are, they have a dance background, but it's not pole or it's not exotic dance when they come to class, because you can tell, you know, when somebody's like a ballerina or a gymnast or something like that, you can tell because they want to have it. They want it so bad, like right away, they want it. And you're just like, let it marinate, you know, like this isn't a competition. Like there are competitions, but this is not one of them. This is a safe space. You can take your time. You know, you can ask questions. You're not expected to have it the first 2 times I show you. You're not even expected to have it today. You know, if it takes you 2, 3, 4, 5 classes to get that move, that's okay. We're just having fun.
Yes.
And it takes a while for that to click. And then once it does, boom, everything's like, I got it. And I love that. I love that about it.
I love it. The having fun is the whimsical part of it, because literally you're spinning. You can't spin and walking around. Like it is the freedom to let go, because when you let go, it comes back. Like in the sense of, I've done a move and be like, I don't even know how the fuck I did it. Like in my head, I was like, did I do it? And then like my sisters came, I was like, good. And I was like, I don't even know what the fuck I did. I'm like, all right, right foot, left foot, cross, and then do it again. And I was like, I don't know. I'm just going to do it and see what happens. Like, and then dip low and then dip back up.
That's what I said. You do your best stuff, especially, I don't know if this is with other like traditional quote unquote dance forms, but for me with exotic dance and with pole, I do my best when I'm just not thinking, when I'm just flowing, when I'm just being, and I got some music going and I'm just like, I'm just going to freestyle. And I watch the video back and I'm like, dang, how did I do that? Like that I love that. I love that feeling, because you're like, I may not get that move again for 6 months, but I don't care. I have video proof that I did it once.
Yeah. Thank you for bringing that back around. That is another bonus. If you don't want to look at your progression, you can say, I did that shit. And constantly watching it, you're literally telling your brain, you did it. You did it. I see myself doing it. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. And then it gives you more ease to walk up in that classroom and do it again.
Yeah. That's why I have my poll Instagram. That's like a living time capsule. Sometimes when I'm feeling really, really down about my progression, I will just scroll all the way back and see little baby Keira just struggling to do like a pole sit, just like the basic stuff. And I would be like, but look at where you started and look at where you are now. And I'm trying to learn how to give myself that amount of grace in the space of engineering as well. And in the space of just me being a conscious being. Like, if I'm going to give myself that amount of grace with pole, why am I not doing that in every other aspect of my life? And I'm still trying to figure out why that is. And I'm still going to therapy, but one day we're going to know. Okay.
Yes. And I mean, you just put the words to why I did what I did with recording myself. I also told myself I was going to post it on Instagram. And it wasn't going to be to say, look at me, I'm half naked on a pole. It was so I could look at the progression. It was to not demonize it as if something wrong or bad or that should be kept under wraps, which for some people that might be the case. But for me, I was very intentional with why I went into pole. It's me embracing all of the aspects of who I am. I am a sexual being. I am a creative being. I am a curious being. And you having that available where you can actually go back, like, I really have been doing this for a long ass time. People may not want to use Instagram for that, but journaling helps too.
Yeah. Sure.
And my other way is podcasting. Me going back to my original episodes before, I'm like, I batch recorded a lot of them. So when I was out like at episode 7 or 8, I was like, going back to 2 and 3 is like, whatever. Like, I've already grown from that. Like, I appreciate it, but I was like, I'm on another level now. So just a tidbit for people, whether you want to do poll, whatever, just still document your progression so that when life is lifing and you're feeling shame or just doubtful, going back to like where you started, is so powerful. And I don't know, I think you have things to do, right? Do we still have time to do the think tank? Because we've been talking and I have not been looking at the time until just now. So
no, you're fine. I'm actually going to Arlington to do a showcase tonight. So gonna do that half naked on a pole thing. But
what does the showcase entail? What does that mean?
It's like an exotic showcase. There's going to be like other girls there doing, exotic pieces, and there's going to be money involved. Throwing of it, not prizes.
Yes.
So, but that's not till tonight. So I have a little bit of time.
Okay, cool. All right, so let's do 10 minutes where you are presenting a moment of stuckness that you're experiencing right now, and we're going to kind of walk through it. So what are you currently stuck with?
What am I currently stuck with? I feel like I should have had an answer to this already, but
take a breath.
Yeah.
And breathe it out. And whatever comes to mind, just say it. Doesn't matter, big, small, whatever.
It's just, I'm stuck. I'm a new business owner. And so I'm stuck with a few things. And so I need to figure out what's my one thing going to be. But I don't know. I think I'm just stuck with my confidence as a business owner, my confidence as a person, and my confidence as a 25-year-old that is trying to do all of these different things. And so, for example, my confidence with a business owner, as a business owner, I need to be more confident to, post my stuff unapologetically and, sell my products and push my products without feeling like, oh, well, what if they don't like it? Oh, well, what if this doesn't sell the way I want it to? Things like that. And as a person, just, I'm pushing myself to do this showcase later. This is something that if you had asked baby Polar Keira if she was going to do this, she would have been like, no, people are going to laugh at me. And I'm still hearing that in the back of my head. So I'm working through that. So yeah, I need to unstuck myself on a couple of things there.
Now, that is completely normal with everything you said as a business owner. Every person I speak to, even when I'm speaking to myself, it's the same thing of, how do I know? How do I know they're going to like it? But then also personally, it sounds like it's the same messaging of, if I do this as just me being a being, how would I know they're going to like it? How will I know?
Right.
So how do you feel about us merging the two?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. You mentioned confidence. What does it mean to you as being confident as the being and the business owner?
I think they're both, to me, it seems like they're both just being unapologetic about what you're doing. And I need to learn to be that. When I'm posting reels or TikToks about my business and I stop myself from posting 2 or 3 in the same day because I'm like, I don't want to get people to get tired of seeing me. I don't want that. I don't want to oversaturate what's going on here. So I'm going to stop. But I see other people on reels and they post 3, 4, 5 reels a day and it's totally fine. And I don't know why I see that. And I'm like, oh, it's fine when they do it. But when I do it, no. We're going to cut that off. Why? Why am I doing that? Yeah.
You wanting to feel unapologetic of you being your whimsical self and just doing whatever comes to you, just putting it out there and be like, all right, cool. And then keep it moving. Why is that so important to you?
Because I think when you have confidence in what you're doing and in yourself as a person, people feed off of that. And, if I can be confident in my branding, in my business, and who I am, then I feel like that is something that even on the internet, it's just a little box, it's just a little screen. People can still feel it. People can tell when you're putting a lot of energy into something. And I want people to feel that.
I was just about to ask, so you just answer that. Because what I was hearing you say is, I want to be able to do this for myself, to give other people the permission to do it for themselves in whatever capacity that is. But I want to be the example. And it sounds like also the same scenario of you going to engineering school. Or just do this, whatever. Who knows who you actually influenced? Like, yo, but you were on the path to be a lawyer. Like, what happened for you to just switch? Circumstances switch. So I switched. And what resonated throughout everything that you said is, I can do anything I put my mind to if I care about it. So do you care about Keira? Do you care about your business?
Yeah. I think these days I'm caring more about my business than I'm caring about Keira. And that's always been a problem. Even little Keira had that problem, is she put school and work and all the things like you were talking about earlier, the good one, trying to do everything that you think that you're supposed to do. Little Keira, from, tiny up until 25, has always been concerned about, what am I supposed to be doing? Not what do I want to do? And so that's when that confidence starts to come down, I think.
And that's understandable. I want you to understand that is normal, where you have been conditioned over and over. It's 365 days in the year. You're 25 years old. That this is what's important, Keira. This is what's important. Work, because that's going to sustain you. That's going to be able to allow you to have a house. That's going to be able to feed you. You're going to be able to travel, do whatever. You have to go there. While that some of the value in having a stable job is there, the question is, who is working that job though? It's Keira. So there's a couple things that are coming up. You mentioning that you recognize up until right now, like you've always put work first and you feel like you're putting business first and Keira is kind of second in place. What does that feel like?
I don't know. That's a good question. I guess it kind of feels like when you know you need to make a change, when you know you need to do something a little different and you stall to to try to like, I don't know. I guess I'm trying to like, I'm telling myself, oh, you're just working your way up to it. Oh, you're working on it. You're working on it. But in reality, you know that you're not, you know?
So say the feeling of you pacifying what you want to do. What's the feeling behind that of you stalling?
I guess if I feel, I don't know, I guess if I'm stalling so on a personal level, not on a business, but if for example, I'm stalling, taking my mental health more seriously. And a big part of that was quitting my job, right? But a lot of people don't know, it took me 6 months to put in my 2 weeks notice. Like I knew in January of 2022 that I was going to quit my job. It took me until I kept saying 1 more week, 1 more week, 1 more paycheck, 1 more paycheck, till it was almost July. And then I finally put in my 2 weeks. So trying to build up and I guess make better moves. I want to make better moves. I want to be confident. That word keeps coming up, but I want to be confident in my decisions quicker and not pacify what I need.
Yeah.
Whether it be business or personal. I need to just go for it. Like I do everything else, whimsical. Like just go for it. Just do it.
So I will highlight that in instances of this, and even those who are listening, when we know something to be true for us and we quote unquote stall or stop or avoid, it's because we haven't addressed the feeling. We don't move until we feel. So I always share the feelings wheel. I don't know if you're familiar with this, where you could just Google it. Because what happens is we tend to only stick with, I was happy, I was sad, I was mad, I was angry. These are all feelings in this wheel. All feelings.
Oh, yeah, I need that.
So you start from the middle of fear, anger, sadness, surprise, joy, love. And if I go from love, you have peaceful, tenderness, desire, longing, affectionate. And then it goes to passion, caring, infatuation, compassion. So what is the feeling you feel when you are stalling and dismissing what is true for you and putting something before it? What is that feeling? Is it fear? Is it disappointment? Is it sadness? Is it... And that might be your takeaway from this call.
Yeah, no, you're blowing my mind. I think that is my takeaway. I need to go and look at that wheel seriously and think about it. And I think I will, for my own edification, just like separate them into business Keira and personal Keira and say, where am I and how do I feel when I'm doing that? And I'm also going to take away the fact that you talked about journaling, because I do that for my poll, but I don't do that from a personal.
Hey, you just did it. You're doing it right now. I want to highlight that. That's normally I don't do this in a coaching session. I wait until afterwards. But I was so excited because that's what happens when you talk it through. You're like, oh, and then you said this, and then I'll probably do this, and I'll take that. Now you're open. You're more curious. But if we don't address the feeling, we cannot move forward. Mm-hmm. Even if we try our damnedest to be like, why do I keep not doing? Why do I keep? Why do I? It's like, what am I feeling? I feel like, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, so I'm just going to leave it there. Yeah, the feeling will, you mentioned that, journaling, and I want to acknowledge we are multi-dimensional human beings. But the only thing that remains true is you are you. You are a being. Right. So start with you first. The easy part of like, all right, let me go to my business, and sometimes there's feeling, but when you make it personal, like as a coach, I had to make everything personal. I could go out and be like, okay, I can help this person. Oh, I can tell they need my help with this. It's like, I don't need your help. It's like, what? And I have to go internally. It's like, why do I feel like they need my help? There's a little bit of judgment there. And for effective, transformative partnership and coaching, I can't have judgment. It's not helpful to have judgment. So remember that when you're going through your process of giving yourself grace, just like those people did at your engineering job when you left and you were like, they're beasts.
They were being nice to me.
Do that for yourself of, oh shit, I didn't journal yesterday, but I journaled 2 days in a row. Like, wow, I can't believe I'm doing it. I'm actually like, celebrate yourself on a constant basis. And it takes practice, but we're rooting for you. Like you said, when you care about shit, you can do it. And is this something that you care about?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Yay! 100%.
Well, thank you for initiating and expanding our original conversation to be built into something bigger. I see something collaborative because I'm so excited about collaborating with other people. And I'm not a pole instructor. Who's to say I might become one? I don't know, but oops, my therapist tells me to replace but with and. And I want to bring other people along. I want to create that same example, just like you want to do with your business of, I still have my thoughts of, I want to be trash, or why am I not getting this? I'm still going to post that video because I said I was going to do it, because that's a part of the journey. So thank you, Keira, for you being you and going through your entire journey that led you to me and us to this budding relationship.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. This was awesome.
Oh, and tell the peeps where to find you. I know you dropped your Instagram and Facebook, but give the website, Instagram all over again, all of the things, please.
Okay, so it's polesweets.com for the merch business. We also have we have pole and aerial stuff like dry hands and pasties, but we also have stuff if you're not a pole dancer. So we have journals and stickers and shirts and beanies and all that. And then Instagram and Facebook are both at Shop Pole Sweets. And then if you want to hit me up about anything else pole dancing related, how to get started, any of those things, I'm at exploding _ the letter K, exploding _ K.
And if y'all ever get lost and you're like, I don't know, I don't feel like looking that up, just go to Crystal's page. You already follow me. I'm following her. I think I posted you before, just shouting you out because you I kind of want to get a pole in the house. Like, there's so many things that I just started unlocking, just going to these classes. Like,
I got one right there.
Oh, nice. I love the panning. Yes. I'm gonna have to put this on a video. So I'm gonna have to put this on YouTube somewhere. Like, people need to see all of this greatness. Like, here, I can talk to you forever. Please drive safe. Enjoy your showcase. Be whimsical, and the money will flow. Yes. She got the biggest smile on her face. All right. Well, I don't want to hang up. I'm like, you hang up first. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna hit stop. Thank you, Keira.
Thank you.
Keira, I know those who listen will feel more informed and capable of signing up for a pole dancing class with or without a friend, especially since you are providing unique and useful products and merchandise to enhance our experience on the pole or not. You would be supporting a Black women-owned business, peeps. Like, listen, a Black woman owning her own business, providing pole accessories and merchandise. Hello! Like, what more can you ask for? I'm so thankful that we met, Keira, and I'm so thankful you are trusting your process and creating the path for us to connect with our bodies, with increasing our confidence, no matter our size, skill, or age. Please go to her website and shop around. Visit, buy a friend a gift at polesweets.com, POLESWEETS.com, and treat yourself with Pole and Ariel's merchandise. Black-owned business. So with Pole Sweets, I hope you continue to expand on our think tank moment and you find it incredibly helpful for days and years to come by putting Keira first instead of pacifying and stalling on taking the action when you know deep down there are better moves to make, and be confident in your decision making. And that goes for everyone. We don't move or make a decision until we address the feelings that we are feeling in every situation, whether that's in a relationship, whether that's in our career, whether that's just bettering ourselves, increasing our personal development. Peeps, if you have a free hand, please hit up Keira on IG at exploding_K and at Shop Pole Sweets. Thank you so much, Keira, for joining me in the think tank, and we will be supporting you along the way. Until next week, peeps, this is a random crystal rant. When in doubt, spin it out on the pole to ignite your soul. Bye!
Foresight Media Production.